It was a night that would echo across continents, a night when the glitz and sheen of royal titles collided head-on with the sharp, unyielding wit of American satire. On that fateful episode of The Daily Show, Jon Stewart didn't merely interview Prince Harry, he performed a cultural exorcism, stripping the exiled royal of his inherited aura and, in the most public way possible, told him, "You're no prince." The world watched, spellbound, as the curtain was pulled back on the spectacle that has become Harry and Meghan, a couple whose quest for relevance seems to rely less on substance and more on controversy, victimhood, and a relentless appetite for the spotlight. From the very first moment, Stewart's tone set the stage. Gone were the deferential bows and careful tiptoeing that usually accompany royal interviews. Instead, Stewart leaned in, his voice laced with irony, and asked Harry what it actually meant to be a prince in a world that increasingly sees monarchy as an outdated relic. The audience roared, sensing what was to come. For years, Harry and Meghan have fashioned themselves as victims of an archaic institution, only to rebrand and monetize their struggles in the lucrative American media landscape. On this night, Stewart sliced through the narrative with the precision of a surgeon. What followed was not merely a clash of cultures, but a public reckoning. Harry, who once wore the uniform of a British officer and walked behind his mother's funeral cortege to global sympathy, now found himself cornered, not by palace courtiers, but by the very public he and Meghan have courted with their Netflix deals, memoirs, and tell-all interviews. Stewart's central point was simple: if you've walked away from your royal duties, renounced your titles and practice, and taken up residence in a Montecito mansion, are you truly still a prince? Or are you, as Stewart so bluntly put it, just another celebrity chasing relevance? This was more than just a celebrity spat. It was a cultural moment that laid bare the contradictions at the heart of the Harry and Meghan phenomenon, contradictions personified, perhaps, most starkly by Meghan Markle herself. Meghan, whose public persona oscillates between righteous victim and steely power broker, has carefully orchestrated a narrative that casts her as the aggrieved outsider, persecuted by a cold and racist institution. Yet, the facts tell a more complex, and some would say, more antagonizing story. From the moment she entered the royal family, Meghan's approach was anything but deferential. Insiders reveal a pattern of demands and expectations that clashed with the traditional, often stifling, protocols of Buckingham Palace. Far from being a passive recipient of royal hostility, Meghan was a disruptive force, challenging centuries-old customs and, in the process, alienating not just palace staff, but also key members of the royal family. The now infamous "Meghan made Kate cry" incident was emblematic. What began as a disagreement over flower girl dresses became a media firestorm, with Meghan later flipping the narrative in her Oprah interview to claim she was the one wronged. But the antagonism did not stop at the palace doors. After relocating to California, Meghan and Harry embarked on a campaign that seemed less about healing and more about settling scores. Their Oprah interview was a masterclass in grievance politics, meticulously curated to elicit maximum sympathy while offering little in the way of verifiable facts. Claims of racism, mental health neglect, and royal indifference were delivered with the gravitas of gospel, never mind the lack of corroboration, or the subsequent denials from all involved parties. Even their financial independence, a supposed cornerstone of their new American life, has been fraught with contradictions. While the couple decried the shackles of royal funding, they wasted no time signing multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify, trading on their royal connections at every turn. Meghan's podcast, Archetypes, was billed as a groundbreaking exploration of female stereotypes, yet it quickly became evident that the show was less about challenging narratives and more about reinforcing Meghan's favorite one, that she is a misunderstood, embattled heroine fighting against a cruel world. The antagonism, critics argue, is not merely a reaction to real or perceived slights, but a calculated strategy. Meghan and Harry have mastered the art of weaponizing victimhood, leveraging their grievances into a global brand. Every slight, Every feud, every tabloid headline is recycled into content, fuel for their ongoing campaign of relevance. It's a strategy that has won them many admirers, particularly among those disillusioned with monarchy, but it has also alienated a significant swathe of the public who see their actions as opportunistic, even mercenary. This brings us back to Jon Stewart's devastating rebuke. In calling out Harry's claim to princely status, Stewart was doing more than poking fun. He was articulating what many have come to suspect, that the Harry and Meghan project is less about principle and more about profit. Their repeated appeals to privacy, juxtaposed with their endless willingness to air private matters on the world stage, have become the stuff of satire. Stewart's words were a wake-up call, an unmasking of the couple's contradictions, and a reminder that titles, however grand, are meaningless without authenticity. If Meghan Markle is the architect of this new royal narrative, then Harry is its most willing participant, a prince in name, perhaps, but a celebrity in practice. Together, they have redefined what it means to be royal in the 21st century, not a life of service and sacrifice, but a brand to be monetized, a platform to be leveraged, and a story to be endlessly retold. In doing so, they have antagonized not just their critics, but the very institution they claim to have escaped. As the dust settles from Stewart's interview, one thing is clear: the age of deference is over. The public, emboldened by moments like these, are asking harder questions, demanding greater accountability, and refusing to be dazzled by titles alone. Meghan Markle, far from being a passive victim, stands at the center of the storm, a figure as polarizing as she is powerful, whose legacy may well be defined not by what she endured, but by what she chose to provoke.